Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new award show here, breakdown here on Max Talks Movies. And my name is Max Librick. And today it is the day before the 2025 Academy Awards. And I've been covering it all season. It's finally time to give you my ballot for the 2025 Oscars. I'm going to give a fun story of personally of mine with Oscar balloting, and then I'll get into my ballot. So welcome back, everyone. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I do movie and TV show reviews every Monday, a box office show, movie franchise rankings, as well as out of theater reactions. So please subscribe, ring the bell, comment down below. What is your ballot for the Oscars? If it's not every category, let me know some categories. And let me know if you agree, disagree with me. Tell me why in the comments. Do you have a usual Oscar viewing party? Let me know in the comments section down below. Also, guys, please hit that thumbs up button. So, this is my first year that I'm really covering awards season, but if you follow me in my personal life, if you're a friend of mine or in my family, you know how seriously I've been taking the Oscars. Basically, I've been a big Oscar person since the 2015 Oscars. So this makes me like 10 straight years where I'm fully committing to watching 90 to 95% of all the movies that are nominated. And I did it because I'm just this fun story because it's what we're here to do with these Oscar ballots. It's all fun. But as someone who's a big sports fan, it kind of dominates my life. The Oscars gave me a look ahead of feels like a sporting event mixed in with movies. For some reason, it was competitive in my family growing up, doing ballots and things of that nature. I've had viewing parties with family, with friends every year, always kind of like, changes depending on where I am. So it's always a very fun thing. I usually have tons of people, which is always fun. So, and I'll tell you another really fun story, and this is not a joke. This did happen. For the 2023 Oscars, I got to go to the red carpet with my mom because I had a perfect ballot on the ESPN ballots. This is 2022. I had for the Oscars of 2022, I had a perfect ballot on ESPN, and the tiebreaker is how many seconds will each first appearance, how long will the first acceptance speech be? And I got within 3 seconds, or I think 1 or 2 seconds, sorry, of the actual time of the first acceptance speech was. And I finished in second place, which would have gotten me a prize. But that wasn't the grand prize, which was some money, but also getting to go to the Oscars red carpet show beforehand. Like they basically give like 30 to 40 people who win some lottery things or stuff like this to go to the red carpet. You're the only non-media people there to be able to watch the people run the carpet. And the first person who won the grand prize never responded back to ESPN. So I actually became the winner of the whole thing. I lived in LA at the time, so I didn't have to pay for the expenses or anything like that. It was nice. I just came in for my spring break in 2023, so my junior year spring break, and went to the Oscars red carpet. It was an amazing thing, something that I will never forget going to. Yeah, so I have a lot of history with the Oscars. So I am obviously doing another bout for ESPN. I'll be telling you here, I just want to give you that fun. Let me know any fun stories you have of watching the Oscars or anything Oscars related in the comment section down below. We'll have a story. If you like the Oscars, you have a story on how you got into watching the Oscars and why you like it so much. So today I am going through each and every category. Now, I will say this, I do have pictures behind me that will come up for each category. The only ones I don't for are documentary and the shorts. Those ones, I haven't watched any of those movies. I'm not someone who I've basically picked these movies based off of what I hear. I follow a lot of people who cover awards, a lot of awards pundits. So I don't have the best opinion, but the other ones that I'll be talking about, near like 18, 19 awards, I'll have pictures behind me. I won't go through each winner, but I'll go through someone who I think is probably the most deserving of the category, and then who I think is going to win. So I am going to give you my ballot, because again, I do have history of getting a perfect ballot. Not tooting my own horn, just being completely honest. You can follow me on Instagram. You can see the pictures from that night where I met a couple of celebrities, which is a lot of fun. So, let's get into this year's auction. Now, before I get into the categories that are the actual films that are like Best Picture and stuff like that, I'll just say right off the bat, the movies I'm picking for the animated short, documentary short, as well as documentary feature. So animated short, as of now, I'm picking Beautiful Men. Again, I can't really give much explanation, just going through things I've heard from pundits. Basically, it's not just I'm picking a random movie out of a hat, basically. Let me keep going here. I'm just going through. This might take a while, so definitely stay tuned. Documentary short film, I'm picking The Only Girl in the Orchestra. Documentary feature seems pretty competitive this year. I'm going to take No Other Land. And let me make sure I don't have. In live action short, I'm going to take I Am Not a Robot. So without further ado, let's get into the other Academy Award nominations for 2025. And I will start with a fun one, Best Animated Feature, which is insanely stacked this year. This is the most, honestly, as someone who, one of my favorite genres, one to two different areas of film is animation for me. And this is an amazing 5 films that have made the list. I am going to watch Flow before I watch the Oscars. But as of now, of recording this, I've watched Wild Robot, Wallace and Gromit, and Inside Out 2, all fabulous films. So for Best Animated Film, I think this is kind of a toss-up as of the moment between Wild Robot and Flow. Flow is also nominated for Best International Feature, but Wild Robot has dominated the entire award season, especially at the Annies, which are the Oscars for animated films. And sorry if I'm looking down, I'm trying to make sure I'm keeping track of my ballot, make sure I'm with you guys. Flow, I think, makes a lot of sense in the upset. I've been talking about it with myself all week. Wild Robot or Flow. I'm going to say for the ballot purposes, Wild Robot. And as movies that I think is most deserving, my favorite animated movie out of this bunch is Inside Out 2. That movie did move me the most out of these animated films. I adore Wallace and Gromit. I've heard very good things about the other 2 films. So I would pick, if I had a vote, I would pick Inside Out 2. Well, what I think will win, that will be on my ballot, it will be Inside Out 2. So I'm going to keep going through. I took a lot of pictures. We're going to follow each other here, and let's go through each award. I'm going through basically the order I have on my screen here, so definitely stay tuned and make sure you're keeping up with your ballot. So we're going to move on to Best Production Design. So let me find that on my ballot here. You can also do it wherever you find it. I used to do printed out ballots. Now we're in a digital age. So the nominees are The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. I will say I am picking Wicked here for production design. This is a really stacked category with 5 amazing production designs. If I had to choose, I actually would pick Wicked as the strongest production design. That movie really brought its elements to life. It all felt, even though it's a very surreal world in Wicked, it really comes to life through the production design. I've seen some videos involving the people who put together this film as it pertains to production design. The sets are immaculate, and it's really hard when you're watching a movie to say, wow, this production design is amazing. But I was thinking that during the movie, make sure this is not CGI. These do feel like real sets, and because they are real sets. And that's a credit to the production. So I think Wicked should and will win in this category. Best original song here. These 5 songs, first time in a long time, if ever, that these songs will not be performed at the actual Academy Awards. Usually each year, each song gets a performance at the Oscars. Now they're going a different way. They are having Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo start the show with some songs from Wicked, as well as other performers throughout, but they're not singing the songs. Here, so we have El Mal from Emilia Perez, The Journey from the 688, Like a Bird from Sing Sing, Mi Camino from Emilia Perez, and Never Too Late from Elton John, Never Too Late. I am picking El Mal for Emilia Perez, which should and will win this category. It's easily, for me, my favorite scene of the entire movie, where Zoe Saldana goes off at this whole banquet scene. She's amazing in the scene, and for me, it was the most memorable part of the movie. And then when I saw that this song was nominated, it felt like a slam dunk. So it's a song that stands out. It's not just playing in the credits. It's a meaningful part of the movie. So El Mal, for me, will win this category. A big one here, Best Adapted Screenplay, which is a very, as always, the screenplay categories continue to be stacked. Again, let me make sure I'm getting to my list here. The nominees are A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing. I think this is the most surefire win of the night for Conclave. I do think the sleeper here could be A Complete Unknown because again, Sing Sing did not get much love from the Academy. Was not nominated for Best Picture. Nickel Boys was nominated for Best Picture, but that's a movie that seems like it's just a win for that. It gets any nominations on the show, and it seems like Amelia Perez will not win major categories. We'll get to one major win in a second. And then I think A Complete Unknown is the only shot of maybe getting upset because there's a lot of love for this movie at the show. But I do think this is the most surefire slam dunk win for Conclave, and I think it should and will win this category. So Conclave getting the win there. Moving on to visual effects. I think we all love visual effects. The nominees were Alien Romulus, Better Man, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked. It seems like a two-horse race here between Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and Dune Part 2. I am going to pick Dune Part 2, but I would not be surprised with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes getting in. Again, I think should win, should be Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It is jaw-dropping to watch how these apes and just the world of the Planet of the Apes comes to life. Yes, there's amazing acting performances with the visual effects in the Apes movies, but also the world, the water. I've watched so many behind-the-scenes stuff on any of the Apes movies. It's all mind-blowing, and then each movie gets better, and he's even better. So I could see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes winning. I think it should win. I will pick Dune Part 2. It's a movie that is nominated for Best Picture. Might not get a lot of wins on the evening. I think this is the spot where it can definitely get a win. Next category is sound. This category used to be split into two categories, sound editing and sound mixing, but it seems like it confused many people, even though there is a difference. So they have combined the category. The nominees were A Complete Unknown, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot getting a non-Best Animated Film nomination. This, to me, is Dune Part 2 should and will win. Dune is one of the best put-together movies of the year, technically. And while Denis Villeneuve did not get a directing nomination, again, you can't deny the sound that this movie has. And Dune Part 2, I think, will win. So for me, Dune at least is going to get 2 wins on the Oscars night. Going to makeup and hairstyling, the nominees are A Different Man, Amelia Perez, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Wicked. Again, this is a should and will win category again. And for me, this is easily going to The Substance. This movie has its whole big thing of its body horror, as they say, is all about the makeup and hairstyling for Demi Moore's transformation, let's just say, throughout that film. So this for me is the easiest win of the night, honestly, out of any category. The Substance winning for makeup and hairstyling. Best Original Score. The nominees are The Brutalist, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. I'll say this. My favorite score out of this bunch is actually Chris Bowers for The Wild Robot. It's an amazing score, and I wish it would win. I don't think it will win, but The Brutalist, I think, will win here. Daniel Blumberg doing the score for The Brutalist. I think there's 3 amazing scores here with Wild Robot, Conclave, and The Brutalist. I think any one of those 3 movies won, I would not be mad at all. 3 amazing scores that I have listened to often since watching those movies. Again, Amelia Perez and Wicked feel more like musicals than there's a great score going on in those movies. So I would say out of those 3, I wouldn't be mad if any one. I do think on my ballot, I will be having The Brutalist win. Going to international feature, we have I'm Still Here, The Girl with the Needle, Amelia Perez, Seed of the Sacred Fig, and Flow. I do think Amelia Perez has just lost basically all of its momentum. Flow, I think, is a good chance to win. I'm going to pick I'm Still Here from Brazil. The movie didn't just get nominated here for international feature, but it got lead actress and best picture. And I think out of all of the nominations, this one actually has its best chance to snag a win. And I just don't think the Amelia Perez love is there. There's a lot of controversy around it. And I think a lot of voters would be uncomfortable putting the entire movie and the people who made it, including probably Carla Sofia Gascon, on stage at any moment. I think this is a good moment to give another film, which a lot of people love, I'm Still Here, the win. So again, I've only seen Amelia Perez on this list, so I am going with I'm Still Here for international feature. Now we move on to Best editing, which is one of the most essential parts of what makes a movie. You have Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez, and Wicked. It does seem lately it's a two-horse race between Brutalist and Conclave. I would say I think Conclave is going to secure another victory on the night here. I think some people are going to have a hard time with The Brutalist because it's nearly a 3.5 hour movie, even though the editing and the pacing of that 3.5 hours is amazing. I think The Brutalist should win for editing because, again, as someone who loves The Brutalist, it's 3.5 hours. It never felt like 3.5 hours while watching the movie. And while I think Conclave is also a really tightly knit, edited film from Nick Emerson, so I'm going to pick Conclave in this category for film editing. Moving on to a big category here, which is Best Director. We're going to end with the acting and Best Picture. Best Director here, the nominees are Anora for Sean Baker, Brady Corbet for The Brutalist, James Mangold for A Complete Unknown, Jack Audiard for Emilia Perez, and Coralie Farge for The Substance. As I said, even though it's not my favorite movie of the year, it's in my top 10 of the year. Should win is easily Brady Corbet for The Brutalist. I think it's by far and away the most well-helmed film of 2024, and The Substance movie is right behind that. It does seem like Anora and Sean Baker are getting tons of nominations and wins across the board, really wins in this category. Sean Baker won the DGA. I do think, though, at the end of the day, Brady Corbet will win. I think Anora, this is a real coin flip, which I am very surprised by. I love Sean Baker. I love Anora. I just don't think when you think about that movie, I think when you think of The Brutalist, you think of Adrien Brody, and you do think of Brady Corbet. I think Brady Corbet deserves, and hopefully, and he's going to be on my ballot, I am picking Brady Corbet to win Best Director. To keep things going here, this is Best Costume Design with the nominees are A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. I am going to go with Wicked in this category pretty easily. There's a lot of different costumes going on in Wicked. Nosferatu, Gladiator have no shot. Conclave, it's a lot of, I don't want to knock it, it's just a lot of the same outfits. I think A Complete Unknown, but again, those are like costumes based on the time. Wicked are creating a lot of new, fresh looks. So I think Wicked here will get another win on the board. As we continue here with the next category, as I'm trying to keep things rolling for you guys. Sorry, again, I am looking at my board here just to make sure I have everything correct for you guys. So this category is for cinematography, which is one of my favorite aspects of a movie. The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Maria, and Nosferatu. I think this is going to be a pretty easy win for The Brutalist. I don't think Maria and Nosferatu have a shot, nor does Emilia Perez. Dune Part 2, I love Greg Fraser. He's probably my favorite cinematographer going right now in Hollywood. I do think, though, Dune Part 2 will win in other categories, not here. I think this is another big win for The Brutalist. Going on to a big category, which is original screenplay, which the nominees are Anora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5, and The Substance. Now, The Substance was my favorite screenplay of 2024. I think it should win with A Real Pain coming right behind it, in my opinion. For should win, will win, I am going to pick Anora and Sean Baker. I do think I'm not someone who believes Sean Baker should be coming up here with 4 or 5 Oscar wins for editing, director, screenplay, picture. That's like top tier regard. Like once Parasite happened, I thought that absolutely deserved Bong to win all those separate awards himself. I don't think Anora is as amazing as Parasite to be able to garner all those wins for one person. So I do think Sean Baker won't win editing, won't win director. I think this is where he'll get his win, which is for screenplay. But as I said, I think The Substance and A Real Pain do have realistic chances to get in here and sneak in for the wins. Now let's get into the big categories here as well, as we can move on to acting now. Supporting actress. The nominees are Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez. And this is already over. Zoe Saldana gives the performance that will win the Oscar. She's won at every single major award show leading in here. I thought Ariana Grande was going to pose a pretty big threat throughout awards season. But again, I think this also comes down to story. Comparing Grande and Saldana, whatever you think, this is how people think DeVoe. Grande is a pop star in her first major role. I think the nomination is a win for her. While you have Zoe Saldana has been working in Hollywood for over 2 decades. She's also been doing a lot of big time IP movies like Avatar and the Marvel films, which has a lot of people forgotten that she's just a great actress. And she is easily, for me, the best part of Emilia Perez. So I think she should win and will win for Best Actress in a Supporting Role. Actor in a supporting role also seems over at this point. You have Yor Borisov for Honora, Kieran Culkin for Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice, and Guy Pearce for The Brutalist. I think should and will win should be Kieran Culkin. He has not lost throughout the entire award season. Not even one of these guys have hinted in being major threats. The only thing that could help the other guys here is that A Real Pain clearly is not a beloved movie by the Oscars. It's only nominated here and for screenplay. The movie did not get in for Best Picture. If they got in for Best Picture, I think Kieran Culkin's a 99.99% lock. I would go like 95% for Culkin. I think Borisov and Norton would be the only realistic upsets. But I still think the best performance here is Kieran Culkin. A Real Pain is one of my favorite movies of 2024. His performance is breathtaking in the movie. He will also be winning an Oscar. Let's go into Best Actor in a Leading Performance. We have Colman Domingo for Sing Sing, Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. I'm standing in the way, sorry, of Timothée Chalamet in A Complete Unknown. You have Adrien Brody for The Brutalist and Ralph Fiennes for Conclave. Adrien Brody should, and I think will win the Oscar here. It will be his second Oscar. Timothée Chalamet posing a late threat after winning at the SAG Awards. But again, SAG voting, the Oscar voting ended well before the SAGs happened. So even with Chalamet winning has no effect on the voting for the Oscars. I think Chalamet has a decent chance here. I would go like 60% for Brody, 40% for Chalamet. I just do believe Brody gives the undeniable best performance out of all of the acting performances on the year for me. He's spectacular in The Brutalist. To carry a 3.5 hour movie like he does is very hard to do, where it's basically all on his shoulders. He's in every scene. He's breathtaking, emotionally vulnerable. I think Brody deserves this, and he also will win the Oscar. Best Actress is the biggest toss-up out of all the major categories on the night. You have Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez. You have Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here, Mikey Madison for Nora, and Demi Moore for The Substance. Now, I think outside of Carla Sofia Gascon, this is a pretty wide open race. Demi Moore and Mikey Madison have basically split up the awards season here for the most part. Demi Moore won big at, if I'm not mistaken, the Globes, as well as SAG. Mikey Madison winning at both, if I'm not mistaken, BAFTA and Critics' Choice. Fernanda Torres won Best Drama Actress at the Golden Globes. I think those are the kind of the three main contenders. I don't think Wicked will win this type of major category, though I think Erivo is deserving. I'm going to pick Demi Moore for should and will win. I think, even though, again, SAG has no effect, she has I think her and Fernanda Torres have the two best stories going on here if they win. Again, Fernanda Torres, Brazilian actress. Brazil films never get in to these type of major categories. For her to win would be a massive thing, not just for her, but for Brazil as a whole. While Demi Moore is an actress, again, very similar to Saldana, been working in the industry for decades and never got the limelight for any of her performances, really until The Substance. And while Mikey Madison, I think, is amazing as well, this is a really tight category. I think they would lean story, giving it more to someone who's been in the industry longer, who's been waiting for this type of limelight, and that is for Demi Moore. I do think she's the best performance here. It's my favorite movie of the year. I'll be rooting for her very hard. I do think she'll also win the Oscar, but this is a real toss-up. I really have no idea who's winning this. I think Fernanda Torres has a great shot. Mikey has a great shot. Demi has a great shot. I think even Cynthia has an outside chance. This will be the one that will get me the most nervous when they start announcing the winner. So we shall see. And that leads us into the last award of the night, yes, which is Best Picture, which, as you can see behind me, the nominees are Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. Now, I think this is down to a couple movies, really three movies. It seems that this is down to Anora, The Brutalist, and Conclave. I think Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, Wicked, and Dune Part 2 don't have real chances to win Best Picture here. A Complete Unknown is very widely loved on this show. I just don't think concert movies like this, biopics like this, win Best Picture. We've seen that with Bohemian Rhapsody, Rocketman, and Elvis. They get in, they don't win. They're more seen as actor showcases than actual Best Picture, not winners. So it's down to three movies for me. Anora has been cleaning up. DGA, WGA, PGA, Critics' Choice, Conclave winning Best Ensemble, Brutalist winning back at the Golden Globes. This is very wide open. Anora, I think, should be the favorite for bettors and things like that. If you want the safest bet to win, I would pick Anora. But I am dying on the hill of the Brutalist. I don't think the AI factor, while it seems it's out there in the mainstream, I don't think the AI thing is a big thing with critics. I think with it being such a major contender, I think people are still, even though it's 3.5 hours, will take the time to check out The Brutalist. I think The Brutalist is an amazing movie that feels like the best option from a feel perspective to win Best Picture. I think Anora and The Brutalist, both movies in my top 10 of 2024. When I came away watching both movies, I never felt like watching Anora. That felt like a Best Picture winning movie. When I came out of The Brutalist, I felt like that is what a Best Picture movie is supposed to feel like. Not saying one movie is better than the other. I like The Brutalist slightly more than Anora. But from a Best Picture winner, my bigger take for those two movies was easily that The Brutalist felt like a better movie to win Best Picture. I think it has good chances. If Sean Baker wins Best Director for Anora, I think that wipes out Brutalist's chances at all of winning Best Picture. If Brady Corbet wins Best Director, I will feel very confident in Brutalist winning Best Picture. It really does come down to Best Director. Whoever wins Best Director out of those two will win Best Picture. I don't see Conclave as a realistic threat to win Best Picture. Again, Best Ensemble as SAG is not, they're not saying that's the best movie. I'm saying the best movie that uses an ensemble to its fullest, that feels like a true ensemble piece, which I think Anora is a really good ensemble, but Conclave feels like more an ensemble. And again, Brutalist is really a 3-performance-led film than an entire ensemble of actors. So, I don't think Conclave should win Best Picture. Very good movie. Very much for me, not a Best Picture winner at all. I'd actually be pretty annoyed if that movie won Best Picture. If Anora wins Best Picture, I would be very happy about it. I think the movie's awesome. Great movie. I just think in my heart, in my brain, I am going with The Brutalist. I am dying on the hill. I feel like each day as the time passes, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to be wrong. But I'm going to die on the hill that I have since I saw The Brutalist in early January, that this movie was going to win Best Picture, that it was going to win Best Director and Best Actor and cinematography and score. It just feels right to me. But again, as someone's been coming for 10 years, it can be quite unpredictable. So this honestly is one of the more unpredictable Oscars that I've ever covered. And I'm very excited for the show as it seems very wide open, including in Best Picture. It's always great to go into an Oscars where you don't know major categories. It seems like we know both supporting categories, both screenplay categories, really adapted for sure. And I think lead actor seems like a done deal. I do think picture and leading actress are just wide open. And those are two of the three biggest categories. And even director, wide open for two people. With it being a toss-up or wide open, it makes the show more fun to watch. So I am pumped for the Oscars. Are you pumped for the Oscars? Let me know in the comment section down below. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be Monday, breaking down the winners of the Oscars. I'll see you guys there.